Joe, thanks for your time this afternoon. First of all, just talk to me a little bit about how you became a Town fan.
Yeah, I guess my Ipswich Town journey is probably a little different to some. My family dynamic is a little bit strange in the fact that my mum was born in Dagenham, East London, and half my family on her side are all West Ham fans, and there's no Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. They're literally all West Ham, home and away, season tickets and all the rest of it. And this side, on my dad's side of the family, I should say, we're all Ipswich Town. So that's the reason I sound a little bit like Danny Dyer the one minute, and then the Suffolk boy the next. But yeah, I guess I had a choice as a kid really of which way to go. I was born in Ipswich. Ipswich is on my passport, on my birth certificate, and to be honest, first time I came down to Portman Road and sort of kind of see it blue, it wasn't a choice. I knew it was going to be Ipswich Town for me. Such an easy club to fall in love with, to be honest. As a young boy, you walk down Portman Road, you've got Sir Ralph Ramsey on the right, England World Cup winning manager. You've got Bobby Robson down on the left, 30 yards away, who's arguably the most successful kind of English club domestic manager, if you like. So always going to be the Tractor Boys.
Was that it, the experience of coming to Portman Road that really made you go, yeah, Ipswich are the club for me?
Oh, it's quite strange, to be fair, because my dad in the early 2000s, late 90s, used to work at the club shop at Planet Blue. So he, in terms of me coming as kind of a young kid, I couldn't often go because he was here, he says working, he was probably peering through that little window they've got over there watching the games. But it wasn't until I was kind of 6 or 7 really that I started to come down a lot more. And yeah, it's just so easy to fall in love with. I remember that my first kind of memory of watching Ipswich is the Jim Magilton era, and we had that pinstripe kit with the E on the front, and people like, you know, Tommy Miller had come back, Kenyago was back, Alan Lee, who I loved until he went to who they should, you know, we won't name them, and it was just my first experience. I just loved that team. That Jim Magilton team, scoring loads of goals, conceding a few, but yeah, that kind of, as a young kid, I was just so proud to be an Ipswich fan.
Yeah, quite an iconic and entertaining era, isn't it? Can you remember your first game?
I probably, you know what, I don't know if I can remember my first game. The first recollection I've got is a 2-0 victory over Leicester when Ricardo Fuller scored. He was on loan, big Ricardo Fuller. And I remember thinking, God, is he any good? And then he went on to play in the Premier League for how many years? So clearly that was when I realised I need to brush up on my football knowledge a bit. But yeah, 2-0 victory over Leicester back in 2006, I want to say, was probably something around. That's the first memory I can kind of go back to.
We spoke a little bit off camera about, you know, giving you a dynamic when you've played Town versus West Ham.
Yep.
Must be an interesting experience.
It's an interesting experience, yeah. I mean, obviously I sit here now with my granddad my season ticket, but I think it was 10 years ago this January. I'm sure the stat man will pull me up on that we played them down here, and it was that famous 5-1. And my mum took me down. I must have been, 14, 15 at the time. We sat over there, and bless her, yeah, Ipswich won 5-1 that day. So it was brilliant. But yeah, there's obviously a bit of family banter and stuff like that. But I think there's probably a respect between the two clubs. I mean, I think 2004, 2005, we seemed like we were playing them every other week when we getting them in the playoffs all the time. So yeah, it's all friendly.
You just touched upon it there. You now come with your granddad. What's that like?
Brilliant, really, really good. Yeah, I mean, I've sat in all areas of the stadium. To be honest, I used to sit over there. And when I was a kid, my first season ticket was over in the Britannia, I think it was called then. Just with COVID and stuff, not being able to see my granddad for 18 months, I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to come and make memories with him. Good old Raymond, he's been going for sort of 30, 40 years, sat in this seat, and it's just brilliant. You know, I come down to Portman Road, yeah, I want to watch football, but it's almost like every time I come down here, I'm making a memory that I can then cherish with my granddad. It's a happier memory if we win, obviously, but it's just brilliant to be down here and share the passion and love that we both have for the club.
It must be interesting, obviously, like you say, he's been a supporter for 30, 40 years, just listening to his experiences being a Town fan as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he often says he feels a bit sorry for me because he used to be carting off to AZ Alkmaar away in the UEFA Cup final and going to Wembley to watch us beat Arsenal. So it's been a different experience, of course it has. That doesn't mean that I'm not proud of what the club has achieved. You know, I think a lot of people kind of going down the road of, well, if you weren't alive, you can't be proud of it. But I couldn't disagree more with that. You know, as I said, I come down to see those two statues. The fact that there's three stars above the Ipswich crest, it's brilliant. And to hear those stories from him and others around us, we're here in the Sir Alf. I know that the rowdy lot are up the road there. Of course they are, but look, we get a bit rowdy in this stand too. But there's a lot of people in this stand that have been there and seen that kind of iconic Ipswich team, and to hear the stories from them and learn from them is just brilliant.
Aside from when Town play West Ham, football is bringing your family together, of course, and it is like a big family here as well amongst the fans too. Absolutely.
Oh, couldn't agree more. I think some people, when you talk to them about going to football, some people see it as you're just going to watch a game of football. And look, we all like football. There's 20,000 here on a regular basis that are coming to watch a game of football. But when it's Ipswich Town and when it's your team, it's so much more than that. And it might sound cheesy and it might sound corny, but it's almost like a religion. When I come down here to Portman Road, this is who I am. This is what I'm all about, and I'm sure there'll be several different fans that you speak to or have the same opinion as me. And yes, we come down here to watch a game of football, but I just can't explain. It's like a religion. This is where I'm supposed to be, and this is my team and my town.
In terms of coming to Portman Road as well, what is it that you just love so much about being here?
I love the pre-match. You got to go get yourself a Portman pie, haven't you? I was having a bit too many of them, so I had to neck back. But yeah, just walking up the steps and seeing that grass out here, and this season's brilliant because there's been an average of 20,000 people here. I can look across there and see the North Stand absolutely packed out with flags and everything, and it's just coming down here is brilliant. I go with my granddad. I've got a lot of family that are Ipswich fans, so we often meet up with them, and that whole experience, you wake up on a Saturday morning, you go around your grandparents, or you see your dad or your uncles and all your cousins, and you walk down to Portman Road, you watch the team, you digest it afterwards, and it's just that, as I said, it's so much more than watching a game of football. It really is making memories with people that you love the most.
Yeah, how special has that experience been, given obviously the pandemic and 18 months with tough times, and obviously without football as well?
So special. It might sound a little bit cringy in a way, but the first game, Morecambe here at home, the build up to that kick-off, it was quite emotional. I think a lot of Ipswich fans will probably feel the same. It was, we were back. How many did we get that day? 22,000, around that figure. And it's been emotional. As I said, I used to sit over there on my own in kind of the plush seats, if you will. And I just thought, with COVID and everything like that, the restrictions and not being able to see my granddad, who I love dearly, to come and watch football with him every week and spend time with him and just have an excuse to be in his presence it's just what makes it for me, and that's what it's all about.
You said earlier as well, just finally, had 20,000 give or take at pretty much every game this season. Do you feel like a bit of a unity building between the fans and the club, and something just building here?
I think you've spot on, yeah, just building. And I was speaking to the receptionist on the way here, and there's such a good feel about the club. Such a good feel. And I'm not going to come in here and talk about the last 10, 15 years. We all know what's happened, but it's just now you come to Portman Road and there's such an excitement. On the pitch, we're scoring more goals. We're conceding a few more as well, obviously, but just coming down here, the biggest way I can describe it is that I just like us as a team now. There's players that I like, there's players that I can resonate with. Macaulay Bonne up front is living every Ipswich Town fan's dream. And to have that and to be able to resonate with that, and it's just brilliant. And on the pitch, of course, there's that aspect, but you've got people like Mark Ashton and Cookie and others behind the scene that just good people and make you feel proud to be and support this club.